Fear of failure can silently control your life without you even noticing it. It stops you from trying new things you secretly desire to achieve. Many talented people never reach their potential because fear holds them back. Failure feels terrifying, yet it is a necessary part of growth and learning. The first step is understanding why you fear failure so deeply inside. Often, it's rooted in past experiences or criticism from important people. Fear convinces your mind that trying is more painful than avoiding entirely. You imagine the worst-case scenario, even when it's highly unlikely to happen. Self-doubt whispers that you aren't capable, smart, or skilled enough for success. Society often glorifies winners while silently shaming those who make mistakes. Perfectionism feeds fear because anything less feels unacceptable and flawed immediately. Avoiding failure may seem safe, but it also limits your life drastically. You deny opportunities, growth, and experiences because fear feels easier than risk. Recognizing fear's influence is the first step to regaining control over it. Observe when fear stops you and name it without judgment or shame. Awareness turns fear from an invisible enemy into a manageable challenge. Another cause of fear is comparing yourself constantly to others' success stories. Social media amplifies this, showing only achievements, not struggles or failures behind. You start believing your worth is tied to never making mistakes publicly. But failure is a universal experience shared by everyone, even the most successful. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the practical electric light. Each failure was a stepping stone, not a signal to quit entirely. Understanding this shifts fear into curiosity and motivation rather than avoidance. Mindset is crucial. View failure as feedback, not as proof of incompetence. Feedback allows you to improve, pivot, and grow stronger with every attempt. Start small. Take risks that feel uncomfortable but manageable to build confidence. Each small success reduces fear's power and strengthens belief in your ability. Surround yourself with supportive people who encourage risk-taking and learning from mistakes. Avoid those who shame, ridicule, or exaggerate failure as personal weakness. Mentors and coaches can help you reframe mistakes into valuable lessons clearly. Writing down your fears can reduce their intensity and create clarity. List possible outcomes, then plan how you'd respond if the worst occurs. Preparation turns imagined disaster into manageable, less threatening scenarios immediately. Visualize success as much as failure to reduce fear's emotional dominance over you. Imagine completing the task confidently, overcoming obstacles, and learning from missteps. Positive visualization rewires your mind to anticipate progress rather than panic automatically. Break goals into smaller steps to reduce overwhelming fear and avoid paralysis entirely. Focus on process and effort rather than perfect, immediate results from the start. Celebrate small wins to reinforce courage and diminish fear's emotional hold gradually. Accept that mistakes are part of progress and not a reflection of self-worth. Embrace a growth mindset. Failure is a teacher, not a permanent label. Challenge fear by questioning its logic and evidence. Is this really true? Often, fear exaggerates risks and minimizes your actual abilities significantly. Cognitive reframing allows you to see potential mistakes as learning opportunities instead. Practice failure intentionally in low-stakes environments to desensitize emotional reaction naturally. Try new hobbies, public speaking, or small risks that feel uncomfortable initially. Each experience teaches that failure is survivable and often far less painful than imagined. Fear loses power when repeatedly confronted with real, manageable experiences successfully. Journaling your attempts and results helps track progress and reduces anxiety over time. Reflect on what worked, what didn't, and what you'd do differently next. Your brain begins associating effort with growth, not punishment or shame constantly. Self-compassion is vital. Treat yourself kindly when mistakes inevitably happen naturally. Avoid harsh self-criticism. It reinforces fear and reduces motivation to try again. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen, and can I survive it? Often, the worst-case scenario is far less catastrophic than fear imagines emotionally. Learn to detach from fear-based thinking and make decisions. Fear often thrives in the unknown, so gaining knowledge reduces its power naturally. Learn skills gradually before attempting bigger challenges to feel more prepared and confident. Preparation doesn't guarantee success, but it significantly reduces fear's emotional grip entirely. Avoid overthinking potential mistakes. Overanalyzing increases anxiety and prevents meaningful action. Break tasks into actionable steps instead of imagining an overwhelming, massive challenge. Action always reduces fear faster than endless planning or hesitation constantly. Surround yourself with inspiring stories of people who overcame fear successfully. Reading biographies and watching interviews helps normalize struggle and failure for perspective. Notice how many successful individuals failed repeatedly before achieving anything meaningful. This perspective shifts fear into motivation rather than a paralyzing obstacle silently. Accountability partners can help you push through fear when motivation wavers suddenly. Sharing goals with supportive friends encourages action and reduces fear-driven avoidance. Celebrate effort, not only outcomes, to reinforce courage over results exclusively. Reward yourself for trying, even when failure occurs, to build positive associations. Self-criticism magnifies fear, while positive reinforcement strengthens confidence and willingness naturally. Understand fear is temporary, but regret from avoiding action lasts far longer. Ask yourself what opportunities you'd miss if fear continues controlling decisions. Visualize your future self thanking you for taking brave action today consciously. Exposure therapy works. Gradually facing smaller fears prepares you for bigger challenges. Start with low-risk failures to reduce fear's emotional intensity gradually over time. Track your progress to see how previous fears feel less threatening now. Reflection builds perspective and reduces the catastrophic thinking fear often creates automatically. Embrace uncertainty. The fear of unknown is stronger than reality most times. Life is unpredictable, but avoiding challenges doesn't make outcomes safer at all. Accept discomfort as part of growth, rather than a signal to stop immediately. Fear often disguises opportunity. What seems scary may lead to meaningful rewards. Courage isn't absence of fear, it's action despite fear's presence consistently. Practice reframing negative thoughts into productive, curiosity-driven questions for clarity. Replace "I might fail" with "What can I learn if this doesn't work?" This small language shift changes your emotional response to fear dramatically over time. Avoid perfectionism. Striving for flawlessness magnifies fear of making any mistakes. Mistakes are necessary signals, not signs of incompetence or personal inadequacy. Redefine failure as information, feedback, and a stepping stone toward mastery naturally. Fear often grows in isolation. Talk to mentors or friends about challenges openly. External perspective often helps normalize fear and clarify what's realistic or exaggerated. Journaling fears and possible actions creates mental clarity and reduces emotional overwhelm instantly. Visual reminders of previous successes build confidence and weaken fear's narrative continuously. Set micro-goals that push comfort zones without creating paralyzing anxiety consistently. Each small success gradually rewires your brain to associate risk with reward positively. Use affirmations like, "I learn and grow from every attempt I take," daily. Positive self-talk reduces fear-driven thoughts and strengthens resilience naturally over time. Recognize physical symptoms of fear: rapid heartbeat, tension, or shallow breathing often. Controlling breath and posture reduces fear's intensity and helps maintain rational thinking. Mindfulness meditation strengthens awareness of fear without being controlled by it fully. Facing fear repeatedly teaches your mind failure is survivable and manageable consistently. Exposure combined with reflection rewires automatic fearful reactions into calm, measured responses. Avoid procrastination. Delaying tasks magnifies fear and anxiety unnecessarily in your mind. Take immediate, manageable action to reduce fear's emotional amplification dramatically. Fear thrives on imagined consequences. Reality is often far less catastrophic than expected. Break the habit of over-identifying with mistakes. They are separate from self-worth. Self-compassion and patience are essential in dismantling fear slowly and effectively. Recognize small improvements, even if progress feels slow or invisible at first. The brain adapts over time. Repeated courage reduces fear's control permanently. Identify triggers that intensify fear and plan coping strategies ahead of time. Visualizing obstacles and solutions reduces anxiety when challenges appear unexpectedly later. Embrace uncertainty as natural rather than a threat to your self-image. Fear of failure often feeds on uncertainty about what will happen next. Making a clear plan reduces unknowns and weakens fear's control over you. Break big goals into smaller, actionable steps to build momentum safely. Momentum combats fear because consistent action builds confidence and reduces anxiety naturally. Start by tackling tasks that feel uncomfortable but achievable immediately. Each small success strengthens belief in your ability to overcome bigger challenges. Remember, failing early in low-risk situations prepares you for larger obstacles later. Exposure to small failures trains your mind to accept mistakes as normal. Reflect on past achievements where initial fear was proven unnecessary consistently. Learning from previous challenges shows that fear exaggerates potential consequences dramatically. Self-awareness is crucial. Notice when fear's influence causes hesitation or avoidance. Labeling fear calmly reduces emotional intensity and helps you regain control quickly. Fear often triggers avoidance behaviors, preventing progress even when opportunities are safe. Identify these patterns to consciously interrupt them before fear dictates action. Visualize success and failure equally to reduce emotional overreaction to possible mistakes. Balanced visualization prevents catastrophic thinking and encourages proactive problem-solving naturally. Surround yourself with role models who demonstrate courage despite potential failure consistently. Their example normalizes risk-taking and reduces fear's social and psychological impact. Mentors can provide guidance, reassurance, and perspective to weaken fear effectively. Accountability partners help maintain action momentum when fear tempts procrastination naturally. Positive reinforcement, like celebrating effort, builds courage and diminishes fear over time. Avoid comparing yourself constantly to others. It inflates fear and reduces confidence unnecessarily. Focus on personal growth rather than perfection to maintain motivation without anxiety. Mindset shifts are essential. Reframe failure as feedback, not a judgment of worth. Feedback informs improvement, guiding better choices instead of paralyzing you with doubt. Each lesson from failure adds experience, skill, and emotional resilience gradually. Journaling challenges, fears, and reflections reinforces learning and reduces emotional overwhelm. Documenting attempts shows patterns of progress you might otherwise overlook subconsciously. Fear thrives when imagination predicts catastrophic outcomes. Reality is often far milder. Planning for contingencies reduces fear by preparing practical responses to potential setbacks. Practicing mindfulness reduces over-identification with fearful thoughts and emotional reactivity consistently. Meditation trains awareness, helping you notice fear without being controlled by it automatically. Control your body's reaction to fear with deep breathing and relaxed posture immediately. Physical calm reduces mental anxiety, allowing rational thought to guide decision-making effectively. Courage is not absence of fear. It is action in its presence consistently. Challenge small fears frequently to desensitize emotional reaction and increase confidence naturally. Low-stakes experimentation strengthens resilience, showing that failure rarely causes permanent harm. Repetition builds neural pathways that associate risk with growth rather than danger automatically. Positive self-talk combats fear-driven narratives that exaggerate consequences and minimize ability. Affirmations like, "Mistakes help me grow stronger and wiser every time," are effective. A supportive environment reduces fear. Avoid people who shame, criticize, or exaggerate mistakes. Constructive feedback encourages risk-taking and reframes errors as learning opportunities naturally. Celebrate every brave action, even if the outcome is imperfect or different than expected. Recognition reinforces courage and helps fear gradually lose its influence over decisions. Fear often signals growth. Discomfort shows you're stepping outside your comfort zone intentionally. Avoid letting fear dictate life choices. Instead, let growth guide your actions consciously. Reflect on moments when fear was proven unnecessary to build confidence repeatedly. Learn to differentiate real risk from imagined catastrophes inflated by fear automatically. Practice decision-making in uncertain situations to strengthen courage muscles consistently. Exposure plus reflection teaches fear is manageable, survivable, and often exaggerated mentally. Embrace discomfort as a necessary part of achieving meaningful goals consistently. Recognize fear as temporary, while regret from inaction lasts far longer permanently. Confronting fear builds resilience, courage, and skill, shaping stronger character gradually. Small steps accumulate into significant progress, reducing fear's emotional power consistently. Fear of failure often returns, even after repeated successes or progress. This doesn't mean you are weak or unable to overcome challenges. It simply shows fear is a natural, recurring part of growth consistently. Each time it appears, view it as an opportunity to strengthen courage. Accept that discomfort is part of progress, not a signal to quit. Celebrate past successes to remind yourself fear is often exaggerated mentally. Reflecting on achievements builds confidence and reduces fear's intensity over time. Understand that fear will always exist to some degree naturally. The key is learning to act despite its presence consistently. Gradual exposure to challenging situations teaches fear is manageable and survivable. Practice regularly stepping outside comfort zones to reinforce bravery automatically. Small repeated risks build resilience for tackling larger, more important goals eventually. Surround yourself with people who take action despite fear consistently. Their example normalizes courage and inspires your own willingness to act naturally. Supportive environments reduce fear's social and psychological power dramatically. Avoid those who amplify fear through criticism, ridicule, or discouragement unnecessarily. Constructive feedback is essential, but toxic reactions only feed fear further. Positive reinforcement strengthens motivation and courage over time automatically. Reflection is crucial. Consider what went well and what could improve clearly. Each reflection turns fear into learning, rather than a paralyzing force consistently. Journaling progress helps track improvements and reinforces positive risk-taking habits. Observe your emotional response to fear to gain awareness and control gradually. Mindfulness practices help separate fear from immediate action, creating mental clarity naturally. Deep breathing and posture adjustments reduce physical symptoms of fear immediately. When fear appears, pause, breathe, and decide rationally rather than react emotionally. Repeated practice of these strategies rewires automatic fearful responses over time. Learn to embrace uncertainty as part of personal and professional growth consistently. Life is unpredictable, but avoidance amplifies fear far more than action ever could. Accept failure as part of the journey toward mastery, not a permanent label. Redefine failure as valuable feedback and a stepping stone for improvement constantly. Focus on growth rather than perfection to maintain motivation and reduce fear naturally. Fear often hides your true potential. Confronting it unlocks opportunities you otherwise miss. Courage is built incrementally, like exercising muscles through repeated, deliberate action consistently. Positive self-talk transforms internal dialogue from fear-driven to growth-oriented over time. Affirmations reinforce courage and reduce catastrophic thinking automatically. Exposure plus reflection is a proven method to reduce fear's emotional intensity consistently. Celebrate every effort, regardless of outcome, to reinforce resilience and bravery naturally. Avoid procrastination. Delaying tasks gives fear unnecessary power over decisions repeatedly. Action, even imperfect, diminishes fear far more than endless planning or hesitation. Recognize triggers that intensify fear and plan coping strategies ahead proactively. Each confrontation with fear gradually weakens its automatic control over behavior consistently. Practice failing safely to desensitize emotional reactions and strengthen confidence steadily. Track incremental wins to visualize progress and reinforce courage continually. Courage grows exponentially through repeated, conscious practice and reflection naturally. Fear is a signal, not a stop sign. It guides learning rather than blocking progress. Accept mistakes as natural. They are indicators, not personal shortcomings continuously. A supportive mindset reframes fear as helpful, not harmful or limiting unnecessarily. Surround yourself with those who encourage experimentation and learning from failures consistently. Self-compassion reduces fear's emotional weight and encourages repeated, confident attempts naturally. Avoid over-identifying with mistakes. They are separate from your inherent self-worth constantly. Reflection turns fear into feedback rather than a paralyzing or limiting force continuously. Courage is strengthened by facing discomfort regularly rather than avoiding it passively. Take daily small actions that challenge fear to build resilience consistently. Exposure, reflection, and preparation combine to make failure less threatening naturally over time. Gradual risk-taking creates new neural pathways, reinforcing bravery and reducing fear automatically. Recognize fear as temporary, while regret from inaction lasts far longer permanently. Mindset shifts, preparation, and incremental action weaken fear's emotional dominance consistently. Confidence grows as repeated action proves fear's predictions false consistently. Now you know fear of failure is natural and not a personal flaw. Everyone experiences it, even highly successful people you admire silently. The difference lies in how you respond rather than whether you feel it. Courage is action taken despite fear, not absence of fear completely. Start small. Face one manageable fear today to build momentum consistently. Each attempt weakens fear and strengthens confidence over time naturally. Reflect on past successes to remind yourself fear often exaggerates reality unnecessarily. Remember that mistakes are feedback, guiding improvement rather than proof of inadequacy. Track incremental progress to see tangible evidence of courage and growth consistently. Surround yourself with supportive people who normalize mistakes and encourage action regularly. Avoid environments or individuals that amplify fear through criticism or ridicule unnecessarily. Mindset matters. View fear as a teacher and guide rather than a barrier. Exposure and reflection gradually transform fear from a paralyzing force into motivation. Celebrate effort and bravery, not just outcomes, to reinforce resilience consistently. Self-compassion is vital. Treat mistakes with kindness to reduce fear's emotional weight. Break big goals into smaller steps to make action manageable and less intimidating. Each small success builds confidence, making larger challenges feel achievable naturally. Visualization of both success and failure reduces catastrophic thinking and emotional anxiety. Fear often feeds on imagined consequences. Reality is rarely as severe as imagined. Preparation and contingency planning reduce fear's grip by giving you control consistently. Practice mindfulness to notice fear without being automatically controlled by it daily. Deep breathing, posture, and body awareness reduce physical symptoms of fear immediately. Courage grows with repeated action, reflection, and gradual exposure to challenging situations. Low-stakes failures desensitize emotional reactions, building resilience for more important goals later. Positive self-talk combats fear-driven narratives and reinforces growth-oriented thinking consistently. Journaling challenges, attempts, and lessons provides clarity and reinforces learning naturally. Exposure plus reflection rewires your brain to associate risk with growth consistently. Avoid procrastination. Delaying tasks strengthens fear unnecessarily and reduces confidence naturally. Recognize triggers and develop strategies to respond proactively rather than reactively to fear. Fear diminishes when action becomes habitual rather than occasional or intimidating gradually. Focus on personal growth rather than perfection to maintain motivation without anxiety constantly. Each brave choice rewires neural pathways, reducing fear's emotional dominance automatically. Courage is incremental. Small, repeated actions accumulate into significant long-term progress consistently. Accept uncertainty as natural. Discomfort signals growth, not failure or inadequacy permanently. Reflect on past fears that were unfounded to build perspective and confidence steadily. Self-trust grows as repeated practice shows that failure is survivable and informative. Celebrate persistence, effort, and learning to reinforce courage and reduce fear's control. Gradually, fear transforms from a paralyzing force into a motivating guide naturally. Confidence strengthens as you repeatedly challenge fear, make mistakes, and learn continuously. Courage is built over time through consistent, deliberate, and reflective action every day. Avoid over-identifying with mistakes. They are separate from your true abilities constantly. Mindset. Preparation as action and reflection work together to weaken fear's emotional power. Exposure to challenges and low-stakes failures trains your mind to tolerate discomfort naturally. Every attempt, regardless of outcome, strengthens skill, resilience, and self-trust consistently. Celebrate each effort, learn every lesson, and continue facing fear incrementally, gradually. Fear becomes less intimidating as your experience and confidence grow steadily over time. Courage transforms fear into an ally that guides improvement rather than blocking action. Realize that inaction often causes more regret than failure ever could naturally. Taking small steps today sets the foundation for long-term confidence and success. Fear loses power when repeated brave actions prove mistakes are survivable consistently. Reflection on past challenges teaches that fear exaggerates risk far more than reality. Each conscious, brave choice reinforces your ability to act despite fear naturally. Surround yourself with people who normalize risk-taking and encourage growth continuously. Self-compassion softens fear's emotional impact, allowing repeated attempts without harsh judgment. Growth mindset ensures fear motivates learning rather than preventing meaningful action.